Hello everyone and welcome back to the Midwestern Reloaders channel. I'm Walker, and on the next installment of 223 loading, I put a poll up on the channel of how you guys wanted me to do the 55 grain bullets, because we have 3 different bullets all the same weight. They're all Hornady bullets. And I had asked if you wanted me to do it by bullet or if you wanted me to do individuals videos reloading each one. And out of the 9 people that voted, 56% said to do the VMAX. So that's what I'm going to load today, and then when I have free time, I'll load the other 2 to the same test loads as these. And if you guys saw the range video, you'll notice that I only have 2 powders sitting here and only 18 pieces of brass. I'm going to go ahead and leave out Varget. It seemed to be doing alright, but I want to save what I have for my 308 because that's my main powder. But we had really good results with BLC2 and really good results with CFE223. So I'm just going to kind of stick to those 2 powders for now, and we'll see what they do. And as always, we're still using the same CCI small rifle primers. And our brass is mixed. Scott got a bag from Starline that was once fired range brass, so it's just all kinds of stuff. Some of it's federal, some of it's Lake City. And most of these haven't been looking too bad. Now, I just had one getting ready for this video. Where did I put it? Here it is. That I know it would fire for him, but I got some pretty nasty dents in the case, so I went ahead and just excluded this one. Maybe I'll use it to set up a dummy round for setting up like the seating die. But for our load data, like I said, we're not gonna worry about the Varget. We're gonna work with BLC2 and CFE223. Now, ironically, for the 55 grain bullets, my start charge and my end charge are the exact same. So, but I know there's a lot of people that like the VMAX bullets, whether it's the 60 grain, the 55, or the 53. I think they make a 50 as well. And Scott gave me some loads that he had. I didn't show the group in the range video, but I had fired off 3 of them and had probably just under an inch. I'd probably say around maybe 7/8 of an inch group with them. I didn't have the camera positioned right to see them. Which, speaking of which, if you guys enjoyed the range video, please let me know. It was a little bit of a headache trying to figure out how to overlay my target camera with the actual recording of me at the bench, but after a while I got it figured out and it actually flowed pretty smooth. So if you want to continue seeing that style of video when it comes to the range, let me know and I'll continue to do it. I don't have it, or do I have it up here? I wanted to show you guys the little camera I got. I don't remember if I have it up here. I have the case, but yeah, there it is. So this is the little camera I got. You know, it just looks like a little GoPro camera. You know, nothing fancy. You know, still films in 4K resolution, 30 frames a second. And I got this on a Black Friday deal for like 55 bucks. Came with all kinds of attachments. And I'd say it worked pretty well. Even comes with like a little waterproof case. And then this block and everything that it's... This is actually the piece that is displayed in the box, in the case, with this, and I just screwed this together to put in my homemade shooting vise so that I didn't have to buy an additional tripod just for filming at the range, and it worked out great, especially considering it was raining that day. It was nice to have this little waterproof case. But anyway, back to this. Like I said, I'm going to do 18 total. You know, I'm going to do 9 with the BLC2 and 9 with the CFE. And I did go ahead and chamfer, deburr, and prime all this stuff already, just to save some time. But I'm going to go ahead and get the camera adjusted a little lower, and we will start throwing powder charges. Alrighty guys, just like in the last video, with these ball powders, I've been having issues with my 22 nozzle attachment for my funnel and powder escaping past the case mouth and kind of collecting in the pockets on the load block. So I've been using the 17. It's been working great. You know, the cases go in there pretty good. They'll actually kind of stick in there. If you look down, there's no way for powder to get. Let's pop it off. Get her on that case mouth. So I haven't been having any issues. So I might have to invest in a different funnel system. But for right now, this is working. I'm not going to worry. And just like in all the other videos, we're going to go ahead and stick with my little electronic scale here, just for the sake of making things go by just a little quicker. Turn it on, zero it out. That's what I always do. Alrighty. Get her. Oh, just trying to get everything ready here. Now these VMAX bullets, I know they are pretty inexpensive. So I want to know your guys' thoughts on them. Like, what's your go-to 223 bullet? A lot of people out there like the VMAXs, whether it's for just target shooting or it's predator hunting, varmint hunting, you know, that kind of stuff. They're a very accurate bullet. Sorry, I was just getting all my bullets ready. Now, and with all this brass, like before, you know, with the other video, I've been dealing with crimped primer pockets. You can still kind of see the ring around them. Now, I think I showed in the first video that I just use my chamfer tool and just kind of go around in there and get that out. It works great. You just got to be careful not to go too heavy on it, or your primers aren't gonna fit properly. Probably have too loose of a primer pocket. Alrighty, and we're starting with 25 grains. Finally changed my dipper out to a smaller one to make this a little faster. You guys will also have to let me know how the audio quality is. I'm wearing a mic. My wife got me a really nice mic for Christmas for this stuff, so. Cheap little mics I bought before I knew that she, you know, bought me a mic. That's what I used in the range video, and they work all right, but you'll notice like Scott's mic sounded just a little bit better than mine, and it's a case of positioning of the mic. I think I just had it a little too close to my mouth and kind of got a little echoey. But speaking of the range video, I was very impressed with what those 69 grain bullets from Rocky Mountain Reloading did. I mean, for being a company I personally have never heard of, I was just very impressed with the overall quality and overall performance of those particular projectiles. Now I would love to get my hands on some of the 69 grain Sierra Match Kings just to compare, because they are a close enough bullet compared to, compared to like the Hornady Aero Match. Like I said, I would have used Varget, but like I said, I'm trying to save that for my 308, and at, anywhere between $61 and $65 a pound of Varget right now. I'm trying to save what I got. But these two powders have just been performing just extremely well. So I think I'm just going to stick with these ones for right now. Maybe we'll try some other ones in the future, but I mean, you look at the burn rate chart, both these powders have very similar burn rates. I think they're actually right next to each other on the chart. And I've never used them before until I started loading for 223. I know you can use them in 308 as well. Looking for 25.5 for these next three. There we go. Also in the range video, I did have the 243 with me and the test loads for them 90 grain ELDXs, but unfortunately we just didn't have enough time for me to include that in the video. It was just getting so cold out. It was raining most of the morning because it was warm enough, but then later that evening we ended up getting a snowstorm, so by the time we left the range, my hands were just numb. I'm going to try and make some of these videos a little shorter, guys. I mean, all my loading videos have been an hour or more. That's why I try and do some of the prep work ahead of time, is to save time on the video, not to bore you. I mean, it's all the same stuff, rinse and repeat. I have been thinking about doing just because 223 is one of them common rounds or common calibers people load for, and the fact that Scott and I are trying to make this channel more directed toward beginners. Maybe I'll do a video of full, like the 243 video of the full complete setup walkthrough, that kind of thing. But you can basically go on YouTube and look up, loading 223 with 55 grain VMAX, and you're probably going to find a couple hundred videos of showing all the same thing. Now we're on to our last charge, looking for 26. Like I've said multiple times before, I'm starting on the low end of everything. I mean, and so far, like you've seen in the range video, even on the low end, I'm getting very good results. Maybe at the end of this video I'll see if I can find the targets, and I'll show you guys if I can remember what order all the holes were shot in. Even after shooting the target, there's some of them I forgot. Once I was editing the video, I'm like, oh yeah, that's where I was shooting. And I do appreciate all of you that have subscribed, especially all you guys from Reddit that saw my post. Really, we really appreciate that. We went from, what was it, like 51 subscribers up to, I think we're at 84 last I checked, in a matter of, I think, 3 days. Or no, it was like 63 subscribers to 84 subscribers. We gained over 20 subscribers in a very short amount of time. And I can't thank you guys enough for that. It means a lot to us to see that many people just interested in our videos. It said, we kind of started this as a fun thing just because, we both Scott and I have this as a hobby, and there's always someone out there getting started in reloading that they don't always necessarily know what they're doing. And I mean, I'm guilty of it. When I first started reloading, I instantly went to YouTube, how to, reload 308 for beginners, and I found several videos that broke everything down nice and simple, that was easy to understand, and once you apply it to one caliber, you can pretty much apply it to all of them. I mean, there's subtle differences between like straight wall and bottleneck cartridges, but right. But now we are on to the CFE. Like I said, all of our charge weights are the exact same. Starting at 25, going to 26. A tenth of a grain doesn't really matter, but I'm picky. And you guys will have to let me know what you think. Maybe I'll post a thing on the channel. When we hit 100 subscribers, I'd like to do some kind of a giveaway to you guys, as just as a token of our appreciation for all of you that have subscribed and leave comments and support us. I don't know what we'll give away yet. figure that out when we get closer. You know, still need 16 more subscribers to hit that point. And then maybe after that, like every so many, as the channel grows, so many subscribers, will just do small little giveaways. Like one of the things, you know, it's not a giveaway thing, but one of the things I made for myself is I had them Barnes bullets that you seen in the one of the past videos for both the 270 and 243, and I actually made keychains with them. Made a 243 one for my wife because that's what she always hunts with, and I made a 270 one for myself. I mean, I can do a 308 one, a 30-06 one, a 223 one, so even if it's just something small like that, guys, I mean, like I said, just a small little token of our appreciation. And what I could do too is I'm actually going to be getting my hands on a 3D printer sometime in the future. Not exactly sure when I'll be getting it, but I could, whoever wins the giveaway I'll get in contact with them, but I could 3D print, you know, like one of these ammo boxes like this, or like a load block, or, you know, there's multiple different things I could do. And I'll be uploading, well, it's not my video, I just finished editing it the other day. Scott has a video coming out of the basic items you need to start reloading. Like I said, this channel we try and target it toward beginner reloaders. Now I know some of you guys watching have been reloading for countless years and probably enjoy watching these videos, you know, just to see what kind of processes and stuff other people do compared to yourself. I mean, I try and keep all my processes simple. You know, he goes over equipment, manuals, you know, that kind of stuff. You know, it's a very informative video like Scott always does. And hopefully too, soon I will be getting a different computer, and I'll actually be editing more on the computer versus on my phone. So hopefully the quality of editing will go up a little bit, because trying to do some of that on your phone, you misclick so many different times. Like with the range video that I uploaded last week, I had everything all set and everything was looking good, you know, the overlay, everything was timing up perfectly. And then I went and put the disclaimer in the beginning of the video that it was our first range video, and that we were using mics, so, you know, bear with us on the quality of the video. And I didn't realize after I did that, it actually pushed the overlay back by 10 seconds. So, or push the video back by 10 seconds, pushing forward the overlay. So the target was actually appearing, and you'd see the holes in the target before I'd even actually shoot. So I ended up having to delete the video and re-upload it. Luckily I did it before anybody saw the video. Alright, last three. And we'll get on to seating bullets. Looking for 26. I gotta say, guys, that Now, I don't know what everybody uses gun-wise or twist rate wise. I know some guys, are using ARs because you can get like a 1 in 7 twist a lot easier than in a bolt gun. But that little Savage I got, that thing is just impressing me every single time I pull the trigger. Originally I was planning to buy the Ruger American Gen 2 Predator Edition because I had the 22-inch barrel, which I'm not too picky about barrel length. The 243 it's only got a 20-inch barrel on it, but everything else I have 22-inch barrels, so that's just kind of what I prefer. And the regular Gen 2 just had a 20-inch barrel, but I was originally going to buy the Ruger, and then I started doing my research and just seeing too many reviews and videos and stuff about people having just extremely poor accuracy with them. So that, and I was like, was it really worth spending this, $600 on it? I thought about getting, it was a tie between 1 and 223 or getting a 22 arc. And then Scott kind of convinced me to get the Savage, and I bought the Savage, and gotta say I'm not disappointed at all. The scope that's on it, Scott gave me that. It's like a $140 scope. It's got a mil-dot reticle in it. But, that thing is just shooting lights out. Not a big fan of factory ammo, at least the 2 different brands I've tried putting through it. I tried the Winchester white box, just full metal jacket stuff, and then I've tried the PMC bronze, same thing, 55 grain, full metal jacket, and it does all right with factory ammo, but definitely seems to like my hand loads just a little bit more. And for the life of me, I'm actually gonna go back and double check. Did I charge this one right? Okay, it was 26. I know there's probably still a little bit of powder in there. For whatever reason in my brain, I'm like, I only did 25 and a half, not 26. Dump that back in there. Put our bullet on top like that. And there is all of our powder charges. So this is going to be a little bit of a shorter video because I'm only doing 2 powders instead of 3. Now, I want to get your guys' opinions on something quick. Feel free to leave a comment. Does overall cartridge length matter to you? The reason I'm asking is I've never bothered to play around with it. I usually just, stick to whatever the book says. So, these ones will be 2.25. And I know most of them say max is 2.26. But now for the 69 grain Sierra Match Kings, that one was interesting because if you remember, see if I can find it here. I have written on there 2.28, and that's off the manual that you can download on your phone for free. But if you go to their website and go to their load data, I think it's like 2.245. So I'm just kind of interested if overall cartridge length with seating bullets really matters to you guys. If you've seen really good results with, like, you know, say 10, 15 thou jump to the lands kind of deal, like, is it really, well, I guess I can just modify a piece of size brass, but does it really warrant spending the money on the overall case, you know, gauge from Hornady and the specialized little shell to put in there, or just keep seating them to book spec and leave it be kind of thing? But I'll get you guys pointed at the press and we will start seating bullets. Here we are at the press, and I don't want to, I mean, most of you guys probably already know, but I'm going to stress this a little more. With these particular bullets, because they are a flat based bullet, they don't have a boat tail to them. It is very important that you get enough of a chamfer on the inside of that mouth so you don't have too many issues with trying to get these bullets to seat. I think these are the, well, no, the 110 VMAXs that I got are the first flat-based bullet I ever reloaded, and there was one case that had a little bit of an issue with it kind of trying to go one way or the other because I didn't have enough of a chamfer. But I do want to just give you guys a size comparison quick. On the left, that's that 55 grain, and on the right, that's that 110 grain and 308 diameter. But yeah, just make sure you have plenty of chamfer on the inside of the case mouth so that a flat based bullet, I just had it there, kind of just sit there without moving too much. I mean, you'll still probably have to help it up. And just like that, it started. And once it started, I mean, you don't got to worry. Where are my calipers? Oh yeah, they're still in the range box. Took the calipers with me into the range so I could measure groups, and then I never measured groups because my hands are so numb. And again, when it comes to calipers, it really doesn't matter. Like I said, I got Pittsburgh ones. As long as they do what they're supposed to do, you should have no problem. Alright, we're looking for 2.25, and we're currently at 2.358. So we got 100 thou to go. I did back off the seating die, just like in the last video, just because, you know, them 69 grain bullets were also seated to 2.25, but I always like to play it safe, and I will back it out and just slowly work it back in. Alright, we're at 2.277. And I gotta say, I've been really enjoying these lead eyes that Scott has loaned me to use for these videos. 2.261. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my Hornady dies, and kind of have a love-hate relationship with the RCBS ones, but these Lee ones have just been surprising me. So we're at 2.254. Gotta go down another 4,000. See, and this is where having the micrometer seater would be real nice. You know, getting that last 4 thou would be just so simple. 2.248. So we're actually a little short. But 2 thou, that's not going to make much of a difference. At least not to me. It's well within tolerance. Those are coming out just beautiful. You know, another thing I'd like to hear from you guys is like, what got you into reloading in the first place? Like for me, it was my dad and my grandpa loaded for their 30-06s, so kind of had an interest there a little bit. And then when I got my 270, that was right around COVID time, so ammo was scarce and or expensive, so I came up with the decision to start hand loading, and I got my whole kit and everything for, I don't remember if it was $350 or $400. Came with everything I needed except for dyes, primers, powder, everything to actually make the cartridge. Had a little bit of, I got some brass from a buddy of mine. He had a 270, and every time he'd shoot, he'd save the brass and gave it all to me. So that's how I got to start with all my brass for my 270. But it just took me the longest time, because even after COVID, it was hard to find powder and primers. And the first powder I used for my 270 was H4831 Shortcut. And the only way for me to get it was to order it right from Hodgdon's website. And after shipping and everything, it was over $100 for 1 pound of powder. So then I got the powder, and then for the longest time it was primers. Couldn't get my hands on any large rifle primers. And the same buddy that has a 270 and that I load for his 308, he was down at our local fleet farm and had messaged me and asked what I needed for primers, and I said, large rifle primers, and they had just restocked, and I got 1,000 of the Winchester large rifle primers, and them have been working great. My dad, he recommends CCI primers. I know in the past he's used Remington primers, and every now and again he gets a dud primer, and it's only ever been with the Remington primers. So I've seen videos of guys using the CCI 41 primers for 223. They're supposed to be like a military grade primer. If I remember right, they have a little bit of harder cup to prevent slam fires and like M4s, that kind of stuff. But I've also seen them, I forget what they're like, Gen-X or something like that, primers, and there's guys out there that love those. And like I said, I've had no issues with the Winchester ones and the CCI ones that we've been using. Never had a single hang fire, no dud, no nothing. Pull the trigger, it goes boom. Alrighty, last one. Alright. Now, I'll have to just swing you guys over here. Won't bother to stop. I still got to write on them like I always do. Like I said, I take a Sharpie and I'll write on them the charge weight, what powder, and then I put them into my little containers. And I absolutely love these. It makes things so simple. Like I said, I would have loved to have gotten the 100 count one instead of 250s, but you can only get what is available at your local store. So unfortunately, my local Cabela's did not have any of the 100 count ones that fit the smaller cartridges. Like I said, all I do to them, I'll take them. I know my starting charge was 25 grains. 25 grains of BLC2. I'll just write straight BLC on them. And the next one I just write what the charge weight was. I don't bother to write on every single one what the powder was. I mean, you really don't gotta worry too much unless they spill in the container. But even then, as long as you're only using a couple powders. If I get worried about them spilling like that, then I'll write on every single one. It's like when I did the test loads for Scott, I put them in this, which this is designed more for, you know, your bigger cartridges. And some got a little loose in there. But on all of these, I wrote charge weight and what powder it was, so I wasn't too worried about them getting rattled around in there. So you guys will have to let me know like what your preferred method of marking these, especially if you're using multiple powders. Like if it's all the same powder, I mean, you can just keep them in roll. But I've just found that the Sharpie just works so nice. You know, it stays on there long enough to read it, and then usually after firing it, it'll actually wear off the case pretty good. Alrighty guys, and there you have it. There is our next test loads for the 223. Like I said, I will load when I have some free time. I won't record a video on them, but I'll load these, which are the 55 grain soft points, and then as well as some of these, which are the 55 grain full metal jackets. Like I said, they're going to be using the same powders, same charge weights. So, but it is pretty much all I got for you guys today. Like I said, trying to make this a slightly shorter video, but I don't know when our next range video will be. It seems like every time we get a little bit warmer weather, it's supposed to be rainy and snowy and crappy, and so we'll try and fit another one in soon. Like I said, I don't know. I did get a different scope for my 308. Scott got a different scope for his 308, so he gave me the loophole that he had on his. I just got it mounted tonight and somewhat bore-sighted. I don't always, I just have one of these. Just a simple laser bore sighter. And these work all right. But when I got my 223 and I went to the range, there was a guy there that You know, he was kind of like the range master, I guess you could say. Had, I think it was Bushnell. I don't know if you guys have seen the ones where it's like you put it in your muzzle like these, but then it sits up higher to your barrel, and on the inside of it, it's got like a grid system. There's 2 thicker crosshairs in there, and a bunch of different little boxes. And all you do is you turn your magnification all the way up. You look through there, you set your crosshairs in your scope to the crosshairs on that bore sight. And let me tell you, it got me on the bullseye first try. But those are not cheap by any means. I think I've seen them used on like Marketplace and stuff. But brand new, you're looking at about $80, depending on the brand you go with. I think I saw one at my local Dunham's that was a BSA one that, yeah, it was $80 brand new. It's like I don't have that kind of money. But like I said, this is our last little installment for now on 223. Like I said, these are the 55 grain VMAXs. I'm going to go back through and look at my targets. Actually, let me see if I can find those for you guys. Alrighty, so here's one. This was the target I shot at with the 69 grain RMR bullets. And I know this was like our first shot of Varget. You know, here was where the first one hit, and then the other 2 were down here. And I think it was this group. And then this group possibly, and then BLC2. This one should have been BLC2, and then this one was BLC2. And then CFE. I mean, and that's 3 bullets. It only looks like 2 holes, but that's 3. Sorry, this target's kind of hard to work with because it was wet. And then this was the last load with CFE. It started to open up a little bit. But these 3 here, these were the 55 grain VMAXs that Scott had loaded. And those were loaded with, I want to say it was like H4198. Something like that, I think Scott said. This hole, that was a 308 that Scott was checking. I think it was a piece of factory ammo, but I think honestly I'm going to reload this. Like I said, I gotta go back and watch the video. This one I think was BLC2, and these 2 were CFE 223. I'm gonna reload those 3 charges, probably do 5-shot groups and test them, and then whichever is my best one, I'm going to stick with it. Like I said, I was extremely impressed with what those bullets were doing. Like I said, with the Varget, it was doing all right. I mean, you look at this one. I mean, this was a group with the Varget. That's not bad. But the one with the CFE, that was so much better. So, being that I got my caliper sitting right here. So if you go outside to outside, that's a .55 2-inch group. If you go center to center, you know, I'm getting like a 300 thou group roughly. So I mean, right there, just that is just fantastic load. And I have a notebook that you guys could see, from what I could see in my scope at least. You know, like I said, it was rainy that day. I wrote down, you know, each each one and which powder or which group to me looked the best. So like I said, I'm gonna probably take the Varget ones out of there and reload the two BLC 2 loads, and that one CFE load that gave us really good results. And I'm probably not going to load many more of them 52 grain, but before I ramble on, I think that's just going to about do it, guys. So if you have any suggestions in the future as far as bullets or powders you want to see in the calibers we have available, please let us know. You can leave a comment. You can reach us by email. I'll put it down here somewhere. And, feel free to reach out to us, guys. I mean, we have no problem. I check the emails and the comments basically every single day to see if you guys, left an email or left a comment. I try and answer them, or if it's on one of Scott's videos, I'll, tell Scott, hey, someone commented on the video, go take a look and respond to it. I mean, like I said, I can't thank you guys enough for it. Last I had checked, 84 subscribers. I mean, I never thought we would get even this far. I mean, our videos are showing steady growth, but, the YouTube algorithm can be kind of a pain to deal with. So luckily there was a guy on Reddit that was nice enough to kind of explain how all that works and kind of what to check to, kind of, in a sense, fool the algorithm to actually get your videos out there more. But I'm going to call it quits there. I have no clue what I'm going to do for the next loading video, guys. Probably Wednesday I'll upload Scott's newest video. Like I said, that's on the basics of reloading, what equipment you need to get into reloading as a beginner. So, but as always, if you enjoy the video, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Hope to catch you guys on the flip side.